Hello, everyone. Welcome to the EJG3 show. This is your host. I am here with Joey Gallagher. Joey, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Ed. Happy to be back, man. Feels like obviously it's been a little bit. Had some positive things back then, and we got some more positive things to talk about today, feels like.
Absolutely, absolutely. The Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals are all finished. We had the NBA Finals all set. Spurs, Knicks. That's going to be a hell of a finals. We'll talk about that later in the show. But let's recap the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. But we'll start with the Western Conference Finals first. Uh, Joe, what was your reaction to the overall of the series between the Spurs and the Thunder?
You know what, man? It was really bookended by two pretty solid games, but outside of game one and game seven, that was one of the more boring series I feel like I've watched, man. Every game was a blowout. Every game from game two to game six, it was pretty clear and obvious I think maybe game two was a little different. Game two, I think the Spurs were up for a while. Thunder came back and took that W. I could be mistaken. That might be three, but um, I don't know. I mean, it was nice to see it back and forth, but they weren't like overly competitive games.
I think that's what the NBA is. I mean, with the dimension of the 3 point line, teams go on runs, fast pace. You're not
Yeah,
going to see a whole lot of tight games, but it was tight in the first half, and then
yeah, yeah,
the Spurs, went on a huge run late in the game. You know, the Thunder were absolutely cooked. Um,
yeah.
but
Oh man, especially game seven. Yeah, no kidding.
but hey, you know what? It was a better series in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, you know what? I guess that's maybe fair to say. I mean, yeah, at least the Eastern Conference is only 4 games long.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
You know
it
what
was.
though? But
Yeah,
you know what? These teams supposedly they're saying is they're the best two teams,
yeah.
and and they
Supposedly.
and they certainly played like it. Um, but You know, Joe, this reminded me of a series. I believe it was '04 when LeBron James took down or maybe it was '05, took down the Pistons.
That's a little bit reaching back in history, but
But this
yeah,
is what it feels like. I feel like we have a new best player in the world, and his name is Victor Wembanyama. Agree or disagree?
it's tough for me to just go ahead. I mean, like he's got really all it takes, right? He has all it takes. He is proven beyond a shadow of doubt that he is worthy of this conversation. But I think that the only argument against him is that it takes a track record. It takes something consistent over time. Unfortunately, some of his health issues work against him sometimes in these conversations, but he managed to really maintain great health and great availability throughout, and obviously the playoffs. But yeah, it's tough to argue when the guy is as good as he is defensively, and such a threat offensively, such a unique threat offensively. There's really nobody else you can say that has both sides of the game down to that caliber. Like if you take the averages, he might have it. He might have it. But I still got to give it to Yoke right now, man. I think Yoke's the best player in the world.
Yeah, no, it's I just feel like he has the tools. Like,
Yeah.
he's look, he's 7'4". You
Yeah.
know,
He's
he's
seven
good.
four and glowing.
Now, there are times where he does have bad games. We saw in game five. He's
Yeah.
obviously still a young player. I
Yeah.
mean, look, we all knew he was going to be the best player soon, but we didn't
Yeah.
realize it was going to be 3 years. At least
Yeah.
in, for me, he's the best player right now. But he's just so good. He can shoot the three.
Yeah.
And when he's motivated to play, he's unstoppable. No one can guard him.
Yeah, man. I think that's his biggest. his biggest kind of wall he's facing right now is like when he kind of dials himself back, when he's not being aggressive going to the hoop, when he's taking his time and thinking he's gonna just dribble and size up or kind of post up a guy and stuff like that. And it's like, no, man, you got to make one move and go. And when he does that, like we all saw him throw it down on SGA's head. I think this was game six, right? Throw it down on Chet Holmgren's game head last night, which I think was the defining moment of the series, right? Um, and it's like when he plays with that kind of killer instinct, I don't think there is a doubt of who's the best player in the world is. I think it's big, you know. But when he slows himself down and doesn't play in rhythm and with that fire, his game, it's not quite as he's not really making magic happen out of those kinds of moments, you know what I'm saying? And so yeah, I think obviously, I mean, he's young. He's 20 years old or 22 years old, whatever he is. So like it'll come. Will he be the greatest player in the world someday? Without a doubt. Is he there right now? Debatable, but it's a tough debate, and it kind of it's leaning a little bit more towards yes than no. I would agree with you there.
Look, you said young. That Spurs team, young roster. You
Yeah,
talking about Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper. Man, those boys can play.
man. How about Dylan Harper, man? That kid is balling with a smile on his face, man. That he's a fun player to watch. He's a really fun player to watch.
And Stephon Castle, I mean,
Yeah.
look, obviously, game one, he had a lot of turnovers.
Mhm.
He's more of a shooting guard, you know?
Yeah.
He's not,
Yeah.
he's not, he's not there yet to be a point guard.
No, he's not a point. He shouldn't be a point, and I think that's why he kind of got in some of those frustrating places. I think this series with Fox having coming off the ankles, kind of soreness and such that he was going through, right? He had to take that one role, and I don't think that's his game. I don't think that's his strength, but he is he's a baller. I mean, they're all ballers. They're all hustlers. They work their absolute tails off. It's the kind of basketball you love to watch.
Yeah. You know,
And
you
yeah,
know, obviously, Tim Duncan Spurs were great teams,
yeah,
but this Spurs team, they're flashy, they're fun to watch, they're fun to root for.
yeah,
Like they got a little swagger with that, with them. You
yeah.
know,
I mean, I don't
but
know, man. I was a big Manu Ginobili guy, so like I love that Tim Duncan Spurs team, and I was honest to God, I was a Suns fan back then, and Murray Stoudemire is still one of my favorite players in the history of the game. But you couldn't not respect that Spurs team under Pop.
oh,
The
100%.
way
No,
they
no, no.
move the ball. But it's a different game. To your point, it's a different game of ball that this Spurs team plays. It is flashy, it is fast, it is electric, it is defensively locked in. Um, and yeah, it's an exciting game to watch.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, let's go to the other big man, Chet Holmgren. Uh, that game seven was atrocious. That whole series was atrocious.
It really was, man.
The
Yeah,
fact that he had 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks.
two shots, two
That's
field
not
goal
good.
attempts.
I mean, that's your second best player,
That's
and
a
the fact
that's a
that
that's a Western Conference All Star.
absolutely that's atrocious right there.
That's yeah. So I've always thought, you watch the game, and in any sports, there's players that are like they got talent, but they just seem a little fake. They just seem a little weak-minded. And I honest to God, I've always thought that about Chet Holmgren. Unfortunately, no personal disrespect to the guy. Wearing the do-rag was a little bit of a weird choice. Uh, but like, I just don't think he has an ounce of killer instinct. I don't think he's a competitive natured type individual in any way. And like again, man, that backdoor cut in like 2 minutes into the game last night, and Vic catches that ball and puts it on his head, puts it on Chet's head. Chet disappeared the rest of the night. He disappeared the rest of the night. He started the game and he had a nice little kind of like mid post fadeaway. Um, and then that happened a couple minutes in, and that boy disappeared. And you can't have that.
Uh, there are times where players, they have bad nights, bad games, bad series,
Yeah.
and it affects them long term.
Yeah.
I don't know where Chet Holmgren's mind's at, but if it does affect him long term, the Thunder have problems.
I would fully agree with that. I mean, like, I don't know that I would fully agree with the fact that the Thunder have problems, but the Thunder have problems with Chet Holmgren, like because the Thunder is so set up with all these draft picks and stuff like that, and they're young as can be too, like they're gonna build and build and build. They got one of the best GMs in the history of the game, you know, and they're gonna figure something out. They're gonna be fighting for a championship for the next 5 years,
Oh yeah, they're
right?
they're set up.
Easy, right? Um, but yeah, man, I mean, like when you have a guy like that who disappears, who shades, who shies away from those big time moments and those big time games and big time competition, you're going against Wemby. Is that if that's not motivation enough, I don't know what is.
He was
Right?
scared. He was scared to play Wemby.
He was terrified. He was terrified, right? He was sitting wide open. He could have cut back door multiple times or sitting wide open and ready to shoot a three, and he's giving it up. He didn't even want to be there last night.
No,
And that's in your home court.
it
Like,
was. It was. And
yeah,
that's where you should feel the most comfortable playing at home.
absolutely. Yeah, you should feel some pride defending your title, defending your home. But yeah, man, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some conversation coming out, about them looking around, shopping around, potentially for another big man, and how that's going to shape up the Thunder roster is a little interesting because what direction do you go? Do you try to go, find somebody else who disappeared off a historic season like Jalen Duren and see if he can't find a better spot, under the Thunder, but very different player obviously than Chet, so it would change the make of the offense significantly. But I don't know, man. Chet really disappeared, and that was tough to watch.
It was. It was. Now obviously the Thunder had some injuries. Williamson, his hamstring.
Yeah,
Um, look, SGA played really great yesterday,
did.
but I will say this: he struggled versus the Lakers. He
Yeah, he
kind of
did.
struggled versus Spurs. I mean, his big games was when he got to the free throw line, which a lot of people have been complaining about because it's pretty obvious, he's a flopper,
Yeah,
and I just think if he's not getting to the free throw line, it's pretty average. And he's a two-time MVP, and he's a
yeah,
Finals
man.
MVP, but he's average if he doesn't get to the free throw line.
Yeah, there's not a bigger heel in the league right now than SGA, man. The whole flopping stuff is just so abysmal to watch. Fans hate it, players hate it. We got coaches talking about it now, right? And like you got Wemby even talking about it now to the point where like, Wemby's being a little retaliatory, right? He threw that elbow at Hartenstein's face. He tossed that elbow in the T-Wolves series. right? That wasn't flopping related, But then even I think if we watch this whole 7 game series, there was moments where Wemby was a little overselling calls and things like that, you know?
Obviously, it's not an SGA problem; it's an NBA issue.
No, yeah, I mean, it's a trickle down thing, is what it is, And you see Adam Silver went on
Pat
what
McAfee.
yeah, yeah. He went on, shows and he said, "Oh, the Ruffing's fantastic. The Ruffing's incredible." No, it's not. Like, no, it's not. We need, you know what? To some degree, though, is how do we address it? How do we address it appropriately? And without slowing down the game, right? Because you go back and we watch a replay of a foul and say, "Oh, that was pretty clearly a flop." What are we gonna do? Is sign a technical foul and they shoot free throws? We're gonna have to review all those calls every now and then and such. Are we gonna, fine? I think they're already fining some players for certain flops, right? But there's got to be a way to address it because it's bad for the game. It's bad for the game. Makes it look like WWE, which we were a big fan of back in the day. Uh, but that's not what we're here to see.
I love John Cena. Um, but yeah, no, look, I get, selling a call, but it's getting to a point where it's ridiculous. And, you know, I'm not saying we need to play 80s basketball, like be tough and call foul, but like come on.
Yeah,
The league's kind of already soft as it is. Do you really want to be more soft?
yeah, right. You know what gets me at is the facial expressions, man.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I can't stand that, man. I just want to see it done away with. I want these kids to get out there and be excited about ball. You see it now in younger age basketball too. Is like they're mimicking, they're learning from the greats, which they should be, but they shouldn't be learning this nonsense,
No, yeah, no.
And if they see it, they should see it get penalized and realize that's not what I want to do.
No, no. It's bad technique. Bad, you're not gonna get better from like I like hard-nosed basketball players.
Yeah,
Not, you know, stop being soft and stop trying to get more points, bump your stats up. Like, no.
yeah.
Come on, let's play basketball.
Yeah, for sure. Let's play the game. Right? No, I fully agree, man. But I think there'll be a big conversation about it over the off season, I'm certain. And I'm sure they'll try to find in some ways to address it. At the end of the day, though, we can take solace in the fact that Floppin didn't get anybody to the finals this year. So that's unfortunately got the kid an MVP, but I'm not gonna Jokic, my MVP, Jokic already got all of his, so I don't need to worry about that.
Okay. Congratulations to Spurs. You know, well deserved. But let's go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Um, Joe, I feel like we talk about this nonstop. James Harden. What a flame out again. He went 2 for 8, game four. Why do teams like him so much? I don't get it.
I I
He
don't
he
know.
first of all, he's out of shape. He quits. Why do people like him so much? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't. It's the peak in the gravity that he can bring to a team. They use gravity now all the time, and when you're watching the game, the sense of like how much does this player when he's got the ball in his hand or when he's in a scoring potential position draw everybody else's attention, draw everybody else away from their man. And in a situation where you got Donovan Mitchell. Right, you need somebody with some gravity, right? To help allow him to just like play a little bit more free because that's when he plays his best, right? So I see a little bit of that, but it's just like I also just James Harden is not the guy. Like he's a crybaby a bit. He whines and cries in all the different places he plays and gets traded here and gets traded there, and that's his whole thing. He wants this player, he wants that player, right? And then he goes out there and on the defense is a literal traffic cone.
Perfect example. No
Yeah.
heart, no can't play defense. I believe it was like 3 minutes left, something like that. Game three. Jalen Brunson trying to waste some clock.
Yeah.
He gets to like the paint area. No one's guarding him. You have three cats as
Yeah.
defenders.
Yeah.
And Jalen Brunson just lays it
And,
in. And Jalen
and
Brunson's
Cat
like,
comes running in behind him with his arms. Like there's literally nobody there. There was
it's like,
nobody there.
it's like, what
Yeah.
what is happening? Jalen Brunson was shocked.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, Harden, are you going to guard someone?
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna guard anybody. You're gonna move your feet. I mean, man, if you look at Game one, Eastern Conference Finals, most historic comeback in fourth quarter in playoff history, I believe. I don't know if there's a better comeback in fourth quarter in playoff history than down 22 with less than 8 minutes left, right?
I mean,
But
I think maybe the 15-point comeback in game two for the Hawks, but
but if you look at every one of those points scored to get it to overtime, and then in overtime, and they lost by what, 14 or 11 or something like
yeah,
that, right? Every single one of those buckets
they were
is
attacking Harden.
James Harden. Every single one of them is either Brunson burning Harden or now Harden's on Landry Shamet and Shamet bangs a three in his eye. Or Harden's on Mikal Bridges and Mikal Bridges bangs a three in the corner, right? Every single bucket was on Harden. Like you can't have that, and to some degree too, that's on coaching. They didn't call a timeout.
Sure.
You got to call a timeout, coach.
But I mean, look, obviously Kenny Atkinson, and I can't even believe he said this. I think it was post game.
Always game three.
We were basically winning the series.
Analytically, we're up 2-1.
I'm like,
Uh,
uh, and I think Kenny Atkinson, Harden, I think Donovan Mitchell. Oh yeah, we're winning the series. And in game four, you get blown out. Like,
get
yeah,
blown out. Blown out in your own house. Yeah, man. It just, there's something to be said in game one, right? The Knicks have all this time off. They come in, they start off a little hot, and then they even out and they look a little rusty, and the Cavs start running away with it. And it's like, oh, well, is time off really all that good for you? Well, obviously, thanks to James Harden, we pulled that W off. And the rest of the series, man, they just look tired. They
the
just
Knicks
look
stole their heart.
didn't extol their heart. They looked tired. They looked flat. And they looked like they gave up. And what I dislike most about that is I wanted us to beat the Pistons, and the Pistons don't give up. But obviously they played a tough 7 game series. I mean, the whole Eastern Conference battle was just on the other side of the bracket from us. And the Knicks is just like, all right, lost 2 games by 1 point. Otherwise, we're just gonna go sweep through the East.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna give that notion like, oh, the East is 10 times easier. I think Philadelphia has some talent. With Embiid, whatever he is. I mean, he's
Yeah.
always injured, but Paul George is talented.
Paul George, Maxey is incredible, one of the fastest players in the NBA, right? Unfortunately, couldn't shoot to save his life, but he had an injury, right? He had a hand injury and a shooting hand, and that was part of the reason his shot was so off. But how about VJ Edgecombe? How about VJ Edgecombe, 71 or 77, whatever his number is? That kid is a baller.
Yep.
He's gonna be good, man.
The Knicks swept them pretty easily. Wasn't even competitive.
Yeah,
Uh, they swept the Cavs. Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, Mobley.
yeah.
Um, and then I've said this to one of my friends. I think the Knicks have the best starting five in the playoffs.
I would agree with that.
The
I would
only
agree with that.
problem with the Knicks is their depth. That's their only issue. But they have
So
the best starting five in the playoffs.
you might, I mean, like, there's potentially. we just didn't need the depth to show up at all in this playoffs, but like our bench scoring was solid. Deuce McBride played out of his mind. Landry Shamet shot 92% from the three-point line in the series against the Cavaliers, right? Um, Jose Alvarado got steal after steal, showing up and balling out. Uh, we got uh, we got Mitchell Robinson off the bench, who's playing incredible basketball other than his foul shots, right? You could say that our depth is meh, but we haven't really needed depth, to be honest, so far in the playoffs. I'm sure we're going to show that depth is going to show up in the finals.
Maybe, but Jalen Brunson, you know, he got a lot of criticism game two, versus the Hawks. You know, giving up that big lead, not showing up. Game three, he was okay. He was okay, but game four, second round, Eastern Conference Finals, he's been a true leader. The team has followed him. You have. I gotta give a lot of credit to Cat being
Yeah,
that point center.
yeah.
I mean that really changed the Knicks.
And that was his call, right? And they haven't necessarily gone back exactly to that offensive style that he called for, that the change that was made that got us to essentially win and start to dominate the Hawks in that first round, right? But they haven't gone back to necessarily that five high kind of high post cat offense, right? But yeah, like the whole team has shown a click since that game that is just like undeniable, man. Like look at the point spread on that last game versus the Pistons, right? I think it was like 15, 15, 15, 16, and 15 across all the starters. Jalen Brunson had like 9 assists, right? But it's like it was just an even spread. Everybody's playing, everybody's in, everybody's Mikal Bridges getting steals, OG Anunoby's getting blocks, Mitchell Robinson's getting boards, Cat's getting assists, right? Josh Hart's doing everything. It-
I know Bronson, is the best player or supposedly the best player, but man, I love OG. OG's a dog, dude.
OG's a dog. Google.
And
Yeah.
then Bridges, Josh Hart. I like Josh Hart. Uh, I believe it was like game two. The Cavs were just letting him shoot wide open threes. He was missing early, but in
Yeah,
the
when he
second half,
got 26.
yeah, he was draining in the second half.
Yeah.
Like when he can make threes, he's a great player. He's a good defensive player.
Yeah.
Obviously he has
Dogs.
that mid range that he likes to
Yep.
shoot.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, give these players a lot of credit. They're dialed in. They're playing great basketball.
Yeah, they really are, man. And it's the right time to do it. I'm obviously I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm real excited for this finals. But like I can't tell you a finals series that like I think is gonna be better basketball than this in a little bit of time, like
Absolutely.
now they went seven last year, but anybody thought that the Pacers were gonna give the Thunder seven last year, they're out of their minds, right? Uh But yeah, I think we're about to have a battle.
I
Uh,
I agree. Now previewing the finals, I love, the fan bases. I think home court is is such an advantage. I mean, the Garden, man, it's been awesome to watch. I love, it seems like it's like a college atmosphere. It's crazy. I love it. And when
yeah,
you watch these NBA games, the fan bases are not engaged. New York fan base has been engaged the whole playoffs, and I love it. I love it. It's great to
yeah.
watch.
We're engaged at MSG. We're engaged wherever we're at, man. Every single stadium you go to, when Deuce McBride off the bench shoots a three-pointer, you hear the whole building erupt. Deuce, right? And that's because New York Knicks fans travel, and New York Knicks fans are engaged, man. So whether wherever we're at, man, the New York fans about to take that place over. You know, watch out, San Antonio, because your streets about to be flooded with blue and orange.
Okay, so here I will make my prediction real soon.
Yeah.
But okay, so the Knicks OG, uh, Bridges, they can
Mhm.
guard um Castle and Harper.
Yeah.
The only problem is who's going to guard uh Victor because Cat he's not a physical specimen. I think he's going to be a real key. He needs to be that. He needs to be that dude on the defensive end. We know what he can do on offense. He can definitely space the floor, but he
Yeah.
needs to be aggressive. I think they're going to put him on Victor. You would
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. You would think so. Honest to God, I wouldn't be too surprised if either we go a little zone-ish or we even like Josh Hart will take swings at Vic, and Josh Hart could guard Harper, right? Mikal Bridges could guard Castle. OG Anunoby could guard Victor Wembanyama. Now, obviously, he gives up quite a bit of size, but he's a physical, strong-bodied, player. It's just and Vic tends to play out on the wings, for the most part anyways. When he gets inside, obviously we're gonna need Cat right there. Or we're gonna need Mitchell Robinson, right?
Right.
We're
He
gonna
has
need
a broken pinky. Are you worried
yeah.
about that? Because look, to me, he actually doesn't score a lot of points, but he's a rebounder. He's a defensive guy. He guards the
Yeah.
paint. Are you worried
Yeah.
about that?
I don't know, man. It's tough to say. It's the finals. It's the end of the season, and so that kid's gonna go out there and give it his all and play through as much pain as possible. And at the end of the day, it's a pinky finger on the block nest monster who already is shooting 32% from the foul line, right? It's not like he needs the darn thing, right? You might see him go in the locker room, chop the darn thing off at some point at halftime, right? Like a championship might be worth a pinky finger, right? They don't make those rings for pinkies, and we're not winning five in New York, so he's not going to need the pinky anyways.
Man, this series is interesting. So obviously Victor's the best player, but Knicks are playing at a high level, and the Knicks are underrated. They're a really good team. They're
The Knicks,
really good.
the Knicks are the better team. I would say really, really confidently that the Knicks are the better team. And the the Spurs are the better team in the regular season, no doubt, right? No doubt. If you watch the playoffs, period, right? The Knicks have dismantled everybody they played against, right? They've taken some shots. They've had to win some grinded out battles, talking game one against the Cavs, talking a couple with the Pistons, talking obviously those first three games with um, the Hawks, right? But once the Knicks hit their win, they are flying, right? They are playing fast, they are playing defensively, and they are beating everybody down the court over and over and over again, right? And if you look at how the Thunder saw success against the Spurs, it's when they pushed, it's when they moved quick, it's when they attacked and attacked and attacked. And that's what the Knicks can do, right? And that's what they're gonna do. I would say that if I would say that really, really confidently, the Knicks right now in the postseason are the better, more complete team, more consistent team, and they're going to be tough to beat.
What's your prediction? I mean, obviously you're probably going to say Knicks, but how many games?
Honest to God, Knicks in five.
Really? Oh my gosh! Oh my
Nick,
gosh!
Nick,
I'm going to disagree with you, but
that's
I'm
fine.
I'm going to say Knicks, but they win it at the Garden.
I
They
say
win
Knicks
it
in
at the
six.
Garden. Timothy Chalamet, Ben Stiller, a bunch of those celebrities. They finally get the chance to see their Knicks win a championship.
That's gonna be real dangerous for the city of New York.
It's gonna be crazy. Uh, yeah, I got Knicks in six, and I'm already getting goosebumps. I mean, this might be a shot at someone, but I'm not gonna say it. I'm I'm a, I'm gonna rank with all the New York athletes like Jeter, Eli. Um, if Jalen Brunson gets that championship for the New York Knicks, it's interesting where we're gonna rank him between those two.
Yeah, I mean,
He-
he might be the greatest Nick of all time if he gets this ring.
because winning in New York means something, and definitely for that franchise, that means a whole lot.
Hmm.
And it's gonna be the first one since 1973.
Yep. Oh yeah. 53 years. 3 years. It's been a minute.
Look, all right, I'm just gonna say it. He would be second. You're gonna move Eli third, and you would put Jalen Brunson second.
Yeah, I mean, for him to surpass Jeter as the best New York
No,
athlete.
no, no, no. He surpassed Eli. Not.
No, no, I'm saying for him to surpass it would take an awful lot more than
Oh
just
yeah, no. You would have to win two. You would have to win two.
you have to win two. But I will tell you that like you didn't see New York hot, like the city of New York hot like it is, and social media was different back then too, for sure, right?
Right.
You don't see the city of New York hot like it is right now for Yankees.
Yeah. No. It's
See it for the New York Knickerbockers,
bro.
and
I'm already getting goosebumps. Look,
I
look.
know, I
I'm not a
know.
Knicks fan, but it's just been fun to watch. That fan base is unbelievable. And I'm excited. I'm excited to
Yeah,
watch these finals.
I'm really, oh man,
You
sorry, the
know,
cough
and
just got me real good. I swear I'm not crying.
hey, you,
But
you
yeah,
might be crying soon.
I might be
Family
crying
loss.
soon. I'll probably be crying soon.
Yeah,
Eddie, if we win the finals, buddy, I'll FaceTime you. I'll be crying my eyes out, buddy.
bro.
I'll be crying my eyes out. It'll be, I think 1999 when we made it to the finals last to play the Spurs might have been the first year that I started really watching the NBA.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was 6 years old. It
Yeah,
was
no,
probably
for
just
sure.
before my sixth birthday. I was five years old.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, no, it's gonna be an epic finals. I can't wait. Uh, thank you for coming on the show. It's been really fun.
My pleasure, cuz.
Okay,
It's always fun chopping it up with you, buddy.
okay. So
Here's to great finals.
yep. All right. So Joey has the Knicks in five. I have the Knicks in six. And if you ever watch this episode, please like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.